He described how, at the very beginning of time, there was a great cosmic egg from which emerged Brahma the creator, along with Vishnu ago, after a 12-year sacrificial ceremony led by the sage Saunaka, a group of great sages sat peacefully in the sacred forest called Naimisha. Their minds were calm, their bodies rested, and they were eager to hear wondrous stories that would enlighten their souls. Just then, Ugrashrava, known as Sauti, the son of Rumharshana, a master of ancient tales, arrived. With deep respect, he bowed to these great sages. He greeted them, asked about their spiritual practice, and settled down comfortably on a seat they offered him. The sages, full of curiosity, asked him where he had come from and what he had seen and heard on his journeys. Sauti answered that he had traveled far and wide, visiting holy places and sacred springs. He told them he had heard the grand story of the Mahabharata, an epic composed by the divine sage Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasa, narrated by the sage Vaishampayana at the great serpent sacrifice of King Janmejaya, son of Parikshit. The Mahabharata, he said, is a magnificent tale that speaks of righteousness, wealth, pleasure, and spiritual liberation. It is filled with stories of kings and sages, humans and gods, and it includes the wisdom of the ancient Vedas. This epic was first shared by Vyasa himself. When learned beings, both gods and sages, heard it, they praised it as the greatest of all histories. The rishis in Naimisha asked Sauti to tell them this great story, just as Vaishampayana had told it at the serpent sacrifice. They wanted to hear of its hidden meanings and subtle truths, the lessons of life and the nature of the universe that it held. Sauti began by paying homage to the Supreme Being, who is all-pervading and the source of all creation. He described how, at the very beginning of time, there was a great cosmic egg from which emerged Brahma the creator, along with Vishnu and Shiva. Then followed the beings that populate the universe, the gods and their many races, the wise sages and royal sages, the worlds themselves, and the natural order of days, nights, months, seasons, and years. Everything that exists arises at the beginning of each cosmic cycle and returns to nothingness at its end, only to be born again when the cycle restarts. From these ancient beginnings came the great lineages of kings like the Kuru, Yadu, Bharta, Yayati, and Ikshvaku clans, and countless beings, each playing their role on earth. Alongside them came the sacred teachings, the Vedas, the principles of spiritual practice, yoga, and the deep understanding of life, Vijnana. The sage Vyasa gathered all these teachings, rules, and lessons, placing them in order for people to learn and grow. With this introduction, Sauti prepared to share the grand Mahabharata, an ocean of stories, wisdom, and guidance that enlightens the mind and frees one from fear. Thank you for watching the very first episode of this incredible journey into the Mahabharata. This series is a complete and detailed retelling of the original epic, bringing you every story, every lesson, and every moment exactly as it was meant to be told. With 700 episodes planned, you don't want to miss a single chapter of this timeless masterpiece. Subscribe now and turn on notifications to follow this epic from start to finish. Once upon a time, after deep meditation and spiritual effort, the great sage Vyasa, who was the son of Satyavati and the sage Parasara, completed an incredible work, a grand epic that contained all the wisdom of the ancient Vedas, the mysteries of the world, and the stories of gods and heroes. This epic would one day be known as the Mahabharata. When Vyasa finished his creation, he wondered how it could be passed on to future generations. He sat in deep thought, knowing that a mere human scribe might not be able to capture every word perfectly. At that very moment, Lord Brahma, the creator of the universe, appeared before him, radiant and calm. Surprised and honored, Vyasa quickly offered Brahma a special seat of sacred grass and bowed down with respect. Brahma, who knew why Vyasa was worried, suggested a perfect solution. The wise and powerful Lord Ganesha should be the one to write down the story as Vyasa recited it. With a kind smile, Brahma reassured Vyasa and then departed for his heavenly abode. After Brahma left, Vyasa closed his eyes and prayed earnestly to Ganesha. His heart was filled with devotion, and he called upon the elephant-headed god of wisdom, hoping Ganesha would appear. Ganesha, always ready to help those who call upon him sincerely, arrived swiftly. The divine being, kind and wise, stood before Vyasa, prepared to listen. Vyasa welcomed Ganesha warmly and asked if he would serve as his scribe. Ganesha agreed, but he had a single condition: his pen must never stop writing, not even for a moment. If Vyasa paused, Ganesha would depart. Vyasa, wise and thoughtful, responded with a request of his own: if Ganesha ever came across a passage he did not fully understand, he must pause before writing it down. With the word Aum, Ganesha accepted, and their grand task began. As Vyasa narrated his epic, he made certain passages extremely challenging, filled with hidden meanings and subtle twists. Even Ganesha, who knows all, had to pause and think, ensuring that he would not run out of verses to write. Each time Ganesha stopped to consider a difficult line, Vyasa composed more verses. By this clever method, Vyasa kept ahead of Ganesha's swift writing, ensuring the entire epic would be captured perfectly. Vyasa's poem explained the essence of the Vedas, the nature of time, the rules of right and wrong, and the wisdom of the Upanishads and Puranas. It described holy places, rivers, mighty mountains, peoples of many lands, and countless other wonders. This great text guided readers to understand the goals of life: dharma, duty, arth, wealth, kama, pleasure, and moksha, liberation. It was like a great tree with seeds, roots, trunk, branches, leaves, flowers, and fruits, each part representing a section of the epic. Like the sun driving away darkness, it removed ignorance. Like moonlight helping lilies bloom, it awakened human minds to true knowledge. In time, the royal family of the Kurus, Dhritarashtra, Pandu, and Vidura, were born, lived their lives, and passed on. Their lineage and legacy set the stage for the great story Vyasa had composed. After all this had come to pass, Vyasa finally shared the Mahabharata with humanity. During King Janmejya's snake sacrifice, with many wise priests and scholars gathered, Vyasa asked his disciple Vaishampayana to recite the epic. Amid rituals and prayers, Vaishampayana narrated the Mahabharata to an eager audience. Within these stories are noble characters like Bhishma, who stands for unwavering truth and duty, Gandhari, known for her virtue, Vidura, for his wise counsel, and Kunti, for her steadfast faith. The presence of Lord Krishna shines like a beacon, guiding everyone towards righteousness. As the Pandavas, known for their honor, face the Kauravas and their wrongdoing, a timeless struggle between good and evil unfolds. This grand tale, preserved for ages, continues to illuminate human minds and hearts, guiding them toward truth and wisdom. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the Mahabharata. If these stories moved you, don't let the journey end here. Subscribe to Orifine and stay connected. The full series link is in the description. Be part of something timeless. Don't miss the next chapter.
Long ago, at a gathering of wise and learned sages, the rishis asked Suta, the great storyteller, to tell them more about a place called Samanthapanchka. They were curious to know why it was so famous. Suta began his tale. O holy ones, listen carefully. This place called Samanthapanchka became famous during the time that fell between the Treta Yuga and the Dwapara Yuga. In those ancient days, Lord Parshuram, the mighty son of Jamdagni, who carried terrible anger in his heart against the Kshatriya warriors, went on a rampage. He felt that the Kshatriyas had become sinful and prideful, so he decided to punish them. In his fury, Parshuram killed countless Kshatriyas. At Samantha Panchaka, after these dreadful battles, he dug 5 lakes and filled them with the blood of those warriors. Standing in those gruesome lakes, he performed special rites to honor the souls of his ancestors. Richika and the other forefathers appeared before him and spoke gently, O Rama, we are pleased with you. Your offerings have satisfied us. Ask us for a boon. Parshuram, calming down from his anger, said, If you are truly pleased with me, then please free me from the sins of killing so many Kshatriyas. Also, let these 5 bloody lakes become sacred pilgrimage spots where people can come to wash away their sins. His ancestors blessed him, saying, So be it, Rama. Let these lakes become holy, and may you be freed from your sins. Now, let go of your anger. Thus, Parshuram's rage faded, and from that time onward, the area around those 5 lakes came to be known as Samantha Panchaka. It became a place of great holiness. A long time later, at the very end of the Dwapara Yuga and the beginning of the Kali Yuga, a huge war took place on that sacred land. It was the war between the Kauravas and the Pandavas, the Mahabharata war, fought on the plains of Kurukshetra. Millions of warriors gathered there, ready to fight. In those days, armies were measured in units called akshohinis. The curious rishis then asked Suta, What exactly is an akshohini? Suta explained, To understand an akshohini, you must know how the troops are arranged. One basic unit, called a patti, consists of 1 chariot, 1 elephant, 5 foot soldiers, and 3 horses. 3 of these pattis form a senamukha. 3 senamukhas make a gulma, 3 gulmas make a gana, 3 ganas make a vahini, 3 vahinis make a pritana, 3 prithanas make a chamu, 3 chamas make an anikini, and 10 anikinis put together make 1 full akshohini. When you count all this up, Suta continued, an akshohini contains 21,870 chariots, the same number of elephants, 65,610 horses, and 109,350 foot soldiers. During the Great Mahabharata War, there were 18 such akshohinis gathered at Samantha Panchaka, 11 for the Kauravas and 7 for the Pandavas. In that terrible war, it was as though time itself had gathered everyone there to bring about their end. Bhishma, the grand old warrior, led the Kaurava army for 10 days. When he fell, Drona commanded the troops for 5 days. After Drona's fall, Karna led for 2 days, and then Salya for half a day. The final battle, the make duel between Duryodhan and Bhima, lasted another half day. After night fell, when the Pandav camp slept peacefully, thinking the war was over, Ashwathama and Kripa attacked and killed the few survivors, including the sons of Draupadi and many warriors of the Panchalas. This great story, known as the Bharata or Mahabharata, was once recited at King Janmejaya's grand sacrifice. It contains countless lessons on heroism, dharma, righteousness, customs, and wisdom. It is said that there is no story in the world that is not somehow connected to this great epic. As servants remain loyal to a noble master, so do all other tales find their root in the Mahabharata. The wise say that understanding the Mahabharata leads one to understand life, duty, and the path to ultimate liberation. With these words, Suta ended his narration, leaving the rishis in deep thought and reverence for the greatness of the epic and the holiness of Samantha Panchaka. Thank you for watching the Mahabharata. Experience the complete epic like never before, every story, every lesson, every moment. With 700 episodes planned, this is the ultimate retelling of the timeless masterpiece. Don't miss a single chapter. Subscribe to Orifind now and turn on notifications to stay on this epic journey from start to finish. The Mahabharata is an ancient Indian epic, traditionally attributed to the sage Vyasa. It's one of the largest stories ever told, made up of 18 main sections called parvas. Each parva has its own smaller parts, weaving together a massive tale of family feuds, powerful kings, mighty warriors, wise sages, and deep spiritual lessons. Together, they show us a world filled with heroism, love, struggle, loss, and the eternal quest for truth and righteousness. It all starts with the Adi Parva, which sets the stage by introducing the noble Pandavas and their cousins, the Kauravas. We learn how these princes are born and raised, and how Draupadi, a remarkable princess, becomes the wife of the Pandavas. We see them establish their kingdom at Indraprasth, with its magical assembly hall. But trouble begins when the Pandavas are tricked into a dice game in the Sabha Parva. They lose everything, their wealth, their kingdom, and their freedom. Draupadi is humiliated in front of the Kuru elders, planting the seeds of a great conflict that will change the destiny of the world. In the Aranyaka Parva, the Pandavas spend 12 tough years in the forest. They learn from sages, gain spiritual strength, and Arjuna sets out to collect divine weapons. In Virata Parva, they spend a year living quietly in disguise, serving King Virata, until finally they reveal themselves by proving their strength and skill in battle. By the time we reach the Udyoga Parva, both sides are preparing for war. Krishna himself tries to make peace, but Duryodhan will not give the Pandavas their rightful share of the kingdom, not even 5 villages. With no choice left, both armies gather on the plains of Kurukshetra. Then begins the great war. In the Bhishma Parva, the Kaurava general Bhishma leads the battle for 10 days. Here, Arjuna hesitates to fight his own relatives and teachers, and Krishna gives him the timeless wisdom of the Bhagavad Gita, urging him to follow his duty. With Bhishma fallen, Drona takes command in the Drona Parva. The fighting is fierce and tragic. Arjuna's young son Abhimanyu is killed unfairly, spurring terrible woes of vengeance. In the Karna Parva, Karna leads the Kauravas and fights bravely, but Arjuna finally defeats him. In the Salya Parva, Salya takes over, but the Kaurava side is nearly finished. Duryodhan, the last prince standing, duels with Bhima and is mortally wounded. Even after the war, tragedy doesn't end. The Soptika Parva tells how Ashwatthama sneaks into the sleeping camp and kills the sons of the Pandavas and their allies. Then, in the Stree Parva, we see the heartbreaking grief of the women, mothers, and widows who come to the battlefield to mourn their dead. With Yudhishthira as king, the Shanti Parva and Anusana Parva follow. The wise Bhishma, lying on a bed of arrows, teaches Yudhishthira about good governance, morality, charity, and righteous living. These teachings are remembered as some of the greatest lessons of the epic. In the Aswamedhika Parva, Yudhishthira performs a grand horse sacrifice to restore balance and peace. Arjuna follows the sacred horse, battling different kings. The birth of Parikshit ensures the royal line will continue. In the Asramvasika Parva, the old king Dhritarashtra, his queen Gandhari, and Kunti, mother of the Pandavas, all leave for the forest to live like hermits. There, they eventually pass away, finding peace after all their sufferings. The Maushala Parva shows us the end of Krishna's clan, the Yadvas, who destroy themselves in a drunken brawl. Krishna and Balram leave the world, and their golden city of Dwarka sinks into the sea. Without Krishna's guidance, Arjuna finds his powers fading. In the Mahaprasthanika Parva, the Pandavas realize their time is over. They leave their kingdom to Parikshit and set out on their final journey north towards the mountains. One by one, Draupadi and Arjuna's brothers fall, until only Yudhishthira is left, walking on with a faithful dog at his side. Finally, the Swarga Parva shows Yudhishthira reaching heaven. He is tested by the gods, remains true to his values, and is finally reunited with his loved ones in eternal peace and joy. Alongside these 18 main parvas is the Harivamsa, which adds more stories about Krishna's life and future events. Throughout the entire Mahabharata, we find lessons on what is right and wrong, on how to live with honor, how to face life's challenges, and how to walk the path of truth. In simple terms, the Mahabharata is a grand, timeless story. It speaks of mighty warriors, wise teachers, and the triumphs and tragedies of human life. It has guided people for centuries, reminding us that no matter what struggles we face, doing our duty, staying honest, and respecting all beings will lead us towards a better, more meaningful life. Thank you for watching the Mahabharata. Experience the complete epic like never before, every story, every lesson, every moment. With 700 episodes planned, this is the ultimate retelling of the timeless masterpiece. Don't miss a single chapter. Subscribe to Orifind now and turn on notifications to stay on this epic journey from start to finish. Once, in ancient times, King Janmeja, the son of Parikshit, and his three brothers Shrutasena, Ugrasena, and Bhimsena were performing a grand and lengthy yagna, sacrificial ritual, on the holy land of Kurukshetra. As they sat around the sacrificial fire, a small pup belonging to Sarama, the divine she-dog, wandered into the yagna area. Without reason, Janmeja's brothers struck the pup. Hurt and frightened, the little dog ran back to its mother, crying. Sarama asked her child, "Why are you crying? Who has hurt you?" The pup replied, "Oh mother, it was Janmeja's brothers. But I have done nothing wrong. I did not taste their sacred ghee, nor did I even look at it." Hearing this, Sarama became very angry and upset. At once, she went straight to where Janmeja and his brothers were seated at the yagna. She confronted them and said, "My child has done nothing wrong, yet you have beaten him. He did not even glance at your sacred ghee. Tell me, why did you do this?" The brothers remained silent. Seeing their silence, Sarama spoke again, "You have harmed my innocent son. Because of this, some evil will befall you when you least expect it." Janmeja was filled with fear and sadness on hearing this curse. After finishing the yagna, he returned to Hastinapura. Worried about the curse, the king began to search for a priest who could guide him, absolve his brothers and him of their sin, and help turn away the curse. One day, while hunting in a forest in his kingdom, Janmeja came upon the ashram of the great sage Shrutasrava. There, he saw the rishi's son, Somansrava, sitting in deep meditation. Impressed, Janmeja approached Shrutasrava and said, "O wise one, I wish to make your son my royal priest, Purohita." Shrutasrava replied, "My son, Somasrava, is a learned priest and a great tapasvi, one who performs deep penance. He has knowledge of the Vedas and possesses spiritual power. He was born in a unique way. From Annagina, he can free you from all sins except one committed against Lord Mahadev, Shiva. But remember, my son will never refuse a Brahmana's request. Whatever a Brahmana asks him, he must give. If you can accept this condition, you may take him as your priest." Janmeja agreed and returned to his capital with Somasrava. Introducing him to his brothers, the king said, "This is my chosen guru. You must all follow his instructions without question." The brothers agreed, and soon after, under Somansrava's guidance, Janmeja even conquered the land of Takshashila. In those days, there was another renowned guru named Ayodhadhaumya, who had three disciples Upamanyu, Aruni of Panchala, and Veda. One day, Ayodhadhaumya asked Aruni to go and stop a leak in the water channel that irrigated a field. Aruni went there and tried many ways to block the breach, but nothing worked. Feeling helpless, he finally lay down in the channel himself, using his body to stop the flow of water. After some time, Ayodhya wondered where Aruni was. He asked his other disciples, and they reminded him that Aruni had gone to mend the water channel. The Guru then went with them to the field and called out, "Aruni of Panchala, where are you?" Hearing his Guru's voice, Aruni immediately got up from the channel, leaving it open again. He came and bowed before his master. Aruni said, "O Guru, I could find no other way to stop the leak. I lay in the channel so the water wouldn't flow out. But now I heard your voice and came at once, letting the water escape again. Please commend me further." Overjoyed by Aruni's obedience and devotion, Ayodhya said, "Because you rose up from the ditch at my call, you shall be known as Uddalka. You have shown true respect and loyalty to your Guru. May the Vedas and all Dharmashastras shine in you." Blessed by his Guru, Aruni, now called Uddalka, left happily for his homeland, carrying within him the radiance of knowledge and the blessings of his master. Thank you for watching the Mahabharata. Experience the complete epic like never before with 700 episodes planned. This is the ultimate retelling of the timeless masterpiece. Don't miss a single chapter. Subscribe to Orifind now and turn on notifications to stay on this epic journey from start to finish. Once upon a time, in an ancient Gurukul, there was a young student named Upamanyu who was learning under his Guru, Ayodhya. One day, his Guru said to him, "Upamanyu, my dear child, take the cows out to graze." Upamanyu obediently took the cattle to the forest and spent the entire day grazing them. In the evening, he returned to the ashram and bowed respectfully to his Guru. Seeing Upamanyu looking healthy and full of energy, the Guru asked, "Upamanyu, you seem so healthy. What are you eating?" Upamanyu replied, "Guruji, I eat food that I get by begging for alms." Hearing this, the Guru said, "From now on, don't eat the food you beg for without first offering it to me." The next day, Upamanyu did as he was told. He went to beg for food, offered all of it to his Guru, and then took the cows to graze without eating anything. In the evening, when he returned, he still looked quite healthy. Surprised, the Guru asked, "Upamanyu, I took all the food you begged for. How do you still look so strong and well-fed?" Upamanyu humbly replied, "Guruji, after offering the first round of alms to you, I went to beg for food again." The Guru frowned and said, "That's not right. By begging a second time, you are taking food away from others who also depend on it. You must not do this." Upamanyu accepted his Guru's words, bowed to him, and promised not to repeat it. The following day, Upamanyu took the cows to graze as usual and came back in the evening. To the Guru's surprise, Upamanyu still looked healthy. Curious, the Guru asked, "Upamanyu, I took your alms, and you are not begging a second time. How do you still look so well?" Upamanyu answered honestly, "Guruji, now I drink the milk of the cows." The Guru shook his head and said firmly, "You must not drink the milk without my permission." Once again, Upamanyu obeyed his Guru's command. The next day, he took the cows out to graze but refrained from eating or drinking anything. Yet when he returned, he still appeared strong and well-fed. The Guru asked in surprise, "Upamanyu, you don't eat alms, nor do you drink milk, but you still look healthy. How is that?" Upamanyu replied innocently, "Guruji, I sip the froth that drips from the calves' mouths when they drink their mother's milk." Hearing this, the Guru said, "That is not right either. By doing so, you are taking away nourishment from the calves. I forbid you to drink the froth." Upamanyu bowed once again and promised to follow his Guru's words. The next day, Upamanyu went to the forest with the cows. Hunger gnawed at him, but he remembered his Guru's instructions. Desperate, He chewed the leaves of an arka plant without knowing that they were poisonous. Soon, he became blind and, unable to see, stumbled and fell into an old, dry well. When evening came and Upamanyu didn't return, the Guru grew worried. He called the other students and asked where Upamanyu was. They told him he had gone out with the cows as usual. The Guru said, "Let us go look for him. He must be in trouble since I have forbidden him from eating anything." Together, they went into the forest, calling out, "Upamanyu, where are you?" From the bottom of the well, Upamanyu heard his Guru's voice and shouted back, "Guruji, I am here. I fell into this well because I ate the leaves of the arka plant, which made me blind." The Guru said, "Upamanyu, pray to the Ashwini Kumaras, the divine doctors of the gods. They will restore your sight." Obeying his Guru, Upamanyu began to praise the Ashwini twins with heartfelt hymns. He sang about their divine power, their role in creation, and their ability to free people from suffering. He begged them humbly, "O Ashwins, grant me my sight so I may serve my Guru and protect my life." Pleased with his devotion, the Ashwini twins appeared before him and said, "Upamanyu, here is a sweet cake for you. Eat it, and your sight will return." But Upamanyu said, "I cannot eat anything without first offering it to my Guru." The Ashwins smiled and said, "Once, your own Guru received a cake like this from us and ate it without offering it to his master. You can eat this cake." But Upamanyu remained firm. He replied, "I cannot disobey my Guru. Please forgive me." The Ashwins were delighted with his unwavering loyalty to his Guru. They blessed him, saying, "Your Guru Bhakti has pleased us greatly. Your sight will be restored, and you will be blessed with golden teeth and great fortune." As soon as they spoke, Upamanyu's sight returned. Filled with gratitude, he came out of the well and returned to his Guru. He bowed to his master and told him everything that had happened. His Guru was immensely pleased and said, "Upamanyu, because of your devotion, you will be blessed with wisdom and the knowledge of the Vedas and Dharmashastras. Great fortune will follow you always." Thus, Upamanyu's unwavering obedience and devotion to his Guru brought him divine blessings, knowledge, and great fortune. Thank you for watching the Mahabharata. Experience the complete epic like never before with 700 episodes planned. This is the ultimate retelling of the timeless masterpiece. Don't miss a single chapter. Subscribe to Orifind now and turn on notifications to stay on this epic journey from start to finish. Once upon a time, there was a revered Guru named Ayodhadhamya who had 3 disciples. His third disciple was Veda. One day, the Guru said to Veda, "My son, stay in my house for a while and serve me. You will be blessed if you do so." Veda stayed on, doing all the chores in his Guru's household. He endured all kinds of hardship, heat, cold, hunger, and thirst without complaining, just like an ox bearing its master's burden. Pleased with his service, Ayodhadhamya blessed Veda with good fortune and great knowledge. When his tutelage ended, Veda asked his Guru's permission to leave and then became a householder. In his own home, he had 3 disciples. But because of the difficulties he had faced as a student, he was always kind to his own disciples and never treated them harshly. Among Veda's disciples was Utanka. One day, Veda had to travel somewhere and said to Utanka, "My son, I am leaving home for some work. While I am gone, do everything in my house just as I would do it myself." Utanka obeyed dutifully, looking after all the household matters. During Veda's absence, the women of the house came to Utanka and said, "Your mistress is in her fertile time, and your Guru is not here. It is now your duty to take his place." Shocked, Utanka refused and replied, "My guru never told me to commit such a sin. I cannot do this just because you say so." When Veda returned and heard the story, he was very pleased that Utanka had remained loyal and pure. "Utanka," he said, "ask me for any boon. You have served me faithfully, and I want to grant you a wish. You may now return home, and may all your desires be fulfilled." Utanka then said, "Guru, let me first offer you my Guru Dakshina, a teacher's due. It is said that if a guru gives instruction without receiving dakshina, or a disciple learns without giving dakshina, enmity rises between them. I must offer something to show my gratitude." Veda replied, "All right, my son. Go and ask my wife what she would like as Guru Dakshina. Whatever she asks for, bring it to her." Utanka went to his guru's wife and said, "I have received permission to go home, but before I leave, I wish to give you something that makes you happy, so I do not remain in my guru's debt. Please tell me what you would like." She replied, "Go to King Posha and request the queen's earrings from him. There is a sacred day coming soon, and I want to wear those earrings when I serve the Brahmanas. If you succeed in bringing them, you will have good fortune. But if you fail, your fortune will vanish." Utanka immediately set off to fetch the earrings. On his way, he saw a huge bull and an equally large man riding it. The man said to him, "Utanka, eat the dung of this bull. Your guru ate it too." At first, Utanka refused, but when the man insisted, saying his guru had also done the same, he obeyed. Then he cleansed himself and continued on his journey. He arrived at King Posha's court and politely asked for the queen's earrings as Guru Dakshina for his guru's wife. Posha told him to go inside the palace and request the queen herself. But when Utanka entered the royal chambers, he could not find the queen anywhere. Returning to the king, he complained, "You tricked me. Your queen is nowhere to be found." Posha replied, "My queen is very chaste. If you have not purified yourself properly, she will not appear before you. Perhaps you made some mistake." Utanka then remembered that, being in a hurry, he had performed his ablutions while standing. So he now washed himself carefully and sat in proper posture to do achmana, ritual sipping of water. This time, when he re-entered the queen's chambers, she appeared before him and greeted him warmly. Utanka explained his reason for coming. The queen, moved by his sincerity, handed over her precious earrings to him. She warned, "The serpent king Takshaka has always coveted these earrings. Guard them carefully." Utanka thanked her, saying, "Do not worry, I will protect them." He returned to King Posha, who invited him to stay for a Shraddha ceremony. While the king offered him food, Utanka found a hair in it and saw that the food was cold. Considering it unclean, he said to the king, "Because you have served me unclean food, you shall go blind." Posha, angered by this, retorted, "Because you falsely call clean food unclean, you shall be childless." When they examined the food again, they saw it truly was unclean. Realizing his error, Posha begged forgiveness. Utanka insisted the king's curse would stand, but Posha said that, being a Kshatriya, he could not withdraw his curse due to his unyielding nature. Utanka, however, assured Posha that since the food was indeed unclean, the curse would not affect him. Utanka left with the earrings. But on the way, he saw a strange beggar who appeared and disappeared at will. Placing the earrings on the ground while he went to bathe, Utanka was shocked to see the beggar snatch the earrings and vanish into a hole. Utanka chased him and soon realized the beggar was none other than Takshaka, the serpent king. Takshaka dived into the underworld, Nagloka, taking the earrings with him. Desperate, Utanka tried digging into the hole but could not get very far. Lord Indra, seeing his plight, sent his thunderbolt, Vajra, to help. The thunderbolt entered Utanka's stick and bore a tunnel into Nagloka. When Utanka entered the realm of the serpents, he saw a grand city full of majestic palaces and gardens. He praised the serpents with sacred verses, but still, Takshaka did not give back the earrings. Then Utanka noticed two young women weaving a cloth with black and white threads, a wheel with 12 spokes turned by 6 boys, and a shining man on a blazing horse. Utanka realized they were not ordinary beings. He worshipped them with mantras. The man on the horse, pleased with Utanka, granted him a boon. Utanka asked for power over the Nagas. The man told him to blow upon the horse. When Utanka blew on the horse, fire and smoke emerged from every part of the horse's body, burning Nagloka. Terrified, Takshaka rushed out with the earrings and surrendered them to Utanka. Utanka then worried about returning on time. The sacred day mentioned by his guru's wife was at hand. The man on the fiery horse told him to ride the horse, which instantly took him to his guru's house. He arrived just when his guru's wife was about to curse him if he failed to bring the earrings. Overjoyed, she took the earrings and blessed Utanka for his devotion. Utanka told his guru everything that had happened, the strange man on the bull who made him eat dung, the weavers, the wheel with 12 spokes, the shining horse, and Takshaka's theft. His guru explained that the two young women were Dhata and Vidhata, weaving day and night, black and white threads. The wheel with 12 spokes was the year, turned by the 6 seasons. The man was Parjanya, the rain god, and the horse was Agni, the fire god. The bull was actually Airavata, lord of elephants, and the man riding it was Indra. By eating the bull's dung, which was actually Amrita, Utanka had gained protection against death in Nagloka. Having completed his duty, Utanka was filled with anger toward Takshaka. He made his way to Hastinapura, where King Janmeja, the son of the late King Parikshit, was seated in